A very good morning, children. How are you? I hope you're all fine. Very good. I got a good response from everyone in completing a CT. Okay, you are all good children. Continue in the same way. Complete the assignments regularly and be studious and work hard also. Okay, children. Children, the new lesson is atoms and molecules, and it is also related to chemistry. The last lesson also is related to chemistry. What is that lesson? Is matter around us pure? I hope you all have understood that lesson also, and you have to pay attention, listen carefully, and you read the textbook. What is with you? And watch the video. If you are not understanding, please rewatch the video. If you have any doubt in any part of the lesson, please try to make a call to me, okay, and get it clarified whatever the doubt you have, children. In the last lesson, what we have learned, the terms like elements and compounds. Not only that, you have learned how to separate the elements using separation techniques. And one more thing you have learned, that the pure component obtained after separation are either elements or compounds. This is all the part what you have learned in the last lesson. Children, up to now, you know that matter is classified into three states like solids, liquids, and gaseous state. That is nothing but a physical classification you have learned. That this lesson you have learned in 8th standard. And in the last lesson, you have learned about elements, compounds, and mixtures, and that comes under chemical classification. So, listen carefully here. Here, ancient Indian and Greek philosophers have been thinking about what is matter, but around 500 BC, Indian philosopher, he is Maharishi Kannad, has postulated that matter is indivisible. That means if we go on breaking matter, we will get similar and smaller particles, and ultimately the particles obtained may be so small that they cannot be further divided. These individual particles were named as Paramanu. What is that individual particles named as Paramanu? So almost during the same period, ancient Greek philosophers like Democritus and Leucippus also put the same idea what Maharishi Kannad given. So Democritus and Leucippus, they have given that the smallest indivisible particle is nothing but atom in Greek, which means uncuttable. During the same era, the Indian philosopher Pakuda Katyayama, what he told that atoms may not exist in free state but may exist in the combined state in the form of species called as molecules or compounds. Okay, then we may conclude what is matter now. Matter is made up of small particles which may be atoms or molecules, as different types of matter contains different types of atoms or molecules which have different properties. Therefore, different types of matter have different properties. But actually, up to 18th century, there was no experimental results available to support the ideas, whatever the ideas we were discussing till now. But at the end of 18th century, what happened? Pure substances can be either elements or compounds. So afterwards, studies were done and they have issued some laws. Whatever the laws we are going to study in this lesson itself. Anthony Lavoisier, he made many important contributions to chemistry, and some call him the father of modern chemistry. And based on his observations, he proposed the law of conservation of mass. This is one of the law what we are going to a deal in today's class. So children, topics to be covered in this lesson are like this: laws of chemical combination, Dalton's atomic theory, atoms and molecules, symbols of elements, atomicity, valency, what is an ion, writing chemical formula of compounds, atomic mass and molecular mass, mole concept and molar mass. So when you go to the end of this lesson, numericals are there in chemistry also, children, and these topics are very much important in inter also, ma. So that is the reason, please be careful and listen carefully and attentive. Attention is must, ma, for this lesson. So in the laws of chemical combination, we have two subdivisions are there: law of conservation of mass and the other one is law of constant proportion. So in detail, we are going to discuss about these two laws. Children, listen carefully. I may not follow the order of your textbook, but the content wise, once you check what I am dealing here, what is this? Law of conservation of mass. This law deals with the masses of the reactants and products of a chemical reaction. And this law was put forward by Antony Lavoisier. Already I have named him. So, what is the statement of this law is mass neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. In other words, in any chemical reaction, the total mass of the reactants is equal to the total mass of the products. So, this is a statement for law of conservation of mass. In shortcut, how you remember, mass neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. To understand the statement what I have given, let us see one illustration over here. Illustration is nothing but similar to your example, children. Calcium carbonate on heating decomposes to calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. I hope these all chemical names you know. I hope. Okay, anyhow, by the end of the lesson, you will be knowing more about the chemical names. Okay, if 100 grams of calcium carbonate is heated, it gives 56 grams of calcium oxide and 44 grams of carbon dioxide. So you see the equation also, children. Calcium carbonate gives rise to calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. So here mass of the reactants is nothing but calcium carbonate, that is 100 grams. So total mass of the products, I told that CaO CO3 is decomposed into calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. So mass of calcium oxide is 56 and mass of carbon dioxide is 44. When you add those two, you are approximately equal to 100 grams. So by this, what we can conclude, total mass of the reactants is equal to total mass of the products. This shows that no mass is created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction, because both the sides of the reactants as well as the products, the answer is same. So this shows your statement, whatever I have told, is proved by this illustration. To understand the law of conservation of mass, we have to discuss one lab activity. Just listen, children. The aim of this activity is to find out the change in the mass before and after a chemical reaction. This is related to the law what I have discussed. So in this, what are the materials required are sodium sulfate Na2SO4, barium chloride BaCl2, distilled flask, spring balance or electronic weighing machine, a small test tube, a retort stand, rubber cork and thread. If anything is required, that's why I have written etc. So this is the experimental setup, children. Whatever the materials required, I told, just listen, ma. Here in this is called a conical flask. Okay, in this we have a solution of sodium sulfate solution. Okay, we have to make a sodium sulfate solution here, and the other one is barium chloride. In this, a barium chloride solution is there. Okay, in the small test tube. Actually, in the textbook, it is given as a measuring jar, but generally we call it as a conical flask. This is a conical flask. Why? Because the shape of the flask is cone. And this is the rubber cork to close the lid of this conical flask. And this is the thing what we have to see is retort stand. Already we were discussing about this. And this is the spring balance where we can measure the mass using the spring balance. In your right standard, you have learned about the spring balance. I hope you have remembered that. So children, listen carefully the procedure. Weigh the flask, cork and the test tube together and you get some weight. Keep in the mind. Next, prepare a solution of sodium sulfate. Okay, prepare a barium chloride solution. Take a small amount of barium chloride solution, a small test tube. Already I have told when I have shown the picture. Hang the test tube of barium chloride solution in the conical flask containing sodium sulfate solution. I hope you have understood until here. So now weigh the flask with its content using spring balance. All the solutions of a sodium sulfate and the barium chloride you have to weigh now. Okay, and before empty one you find a different, and after filling this you'll find different. So if you want to know what is the mass of the contents, what you have to do, you have to subtract this value with first value, then you will get only the mass of the contents whatever we have taken. Here we have taken a sodium sulfate and barium chloride solution. Okay, what we have to proceed further is now tilt and swirl the flask. Whatever the flask I have shown, no, what is that conical flask, that you have to tilt and swirl so that the two solutions from the test tube and the conical flask, these two solutions get mixed with each other. Now he told us to weigh the flask again using the same spring balance. So what happened? Here you get the same weight as here when you find. So as a result, the solution of the tube mixes into the solution of the flask. Already I told this. What you observe actually in the conical flask is white precipitate. Precipitate means like a powdery, and it's nothing like a soapy nature you'll find. Precipitate appears in the flask due to the chemical reaction takes place between the two solutions, that means sodium sulfate and barium chloride solution. So here the barium chloride plus sodium sulfate gives rise to barium sulfate and sodium chloride. Here this barium sulfate only will be seen as a white precipitate. Okay, foamy nature of white color you can see in the conical flask. So whatever the observations you have observed here, weight of the flask and the contents before mixing, that is equal to weight of the flask and the contents after mixing. Okay, this is the observation you have observed here. Chemical reaction takes place and the mass remains same before and after the chemical reaction. Therefore, the mass is neither created nor destroyed in the chemical reaction. Here, children, one more activity related to that only, because I have told in the materials required digital balance. Okay, once you check this also, ma. This is your conical flask. In the conical flask, we have seen a sodium sulfate solution. There also in that activity, we have seen sodium sulfate solution only. But instead of a barium chloride, here the solution is calcium chloride. So I told you have to tilt the flask like this. We have to do, ma. Then measure. Here we have seen the measurement is 300.23 grams, and this is your electronic balance what you are seeing in this picture. And here also after tilting you have to check the mass. Already I have explained there the procedure what to do. So what they have found, calcium sulfate is found, and that is a, I told here also we found PPT only. PPT is a shortcut of precipitate, amma, in NaCl solution. There also I told that only barium chloride solution and barium sulfate solution is formed there. Here we have taken, instead of barium chloride, here we have taken calcium chloride. So that's why calcium sulfate precipitate is formed in the sodium chloride solution. There barium sulfate solution forms in sodium chloride solution. Okay, I hope you have understood this. Now, this is law of constant proportion. Just listen, children. This law deals with the composition of elements which is present in a given compound. Okay, coming to the definition, just listen the definition. A chemical compound is always made up of the same elements combined together in the same fixed proportion by mass. I hope you know what is a compound. Okay, now we are going to discuss those all also in the same lesson. It was given by Joseph L. Proust in 1790. So the example what I have given about water, already known one. We will take the formula as H2O. So in that H2O, we have hydrogen and oxygen. So hydrogen and oxygen combine together in a fixed ratio, that is 1:8 by mass. Then just listen one example here. If you take 9 grams of water from any source, a source can be from water, from tap water or a sea water or ocean water, whatever the source you take, what happens? And then decomposing it by passing electricity and collecting the gases formed. So you find in water hydrogen and oxygen. So what you will get, the mass of the hydrogen is 1 gram and the mass of oxygen is 8. Already I told you have to take a 9 grams of water. So when you add these two, 1 plus 8, that gives you 9. So in this way you remember, children, about law of constant proportion. Here the pros took 2 samples of copper carbonate. You know what is the formula? CaCO3. One from the nature and other sample from the lab, what he has prepared. And he decomposed it chemically to find the percentage of copper, carbon and oxygen in the 2 samples. One is from the nature, the other one is from the laboratory. So in calcium carbonate, we find the following elements like copper, carbon and oxygen. Just remember the formula CaCO3. Okay, in the weight percentage is given like that. He found in natural sample as well as synthetic sample. Here synthetic sample is which was prepared chemically in the laboratory. So if you see, you are finding almost same values for copper, carbon and oxygen. So how to calculate the percentage of element in a compound? Okay, you have to use this formula. It is mass of the element by mass of the compound into 100. So anyhow, this atomic mass of the elements you're going to study in this lesson as well as next lesson also. Okay, keep everything in my mind. So children, one more illustration, that is carbon dioxide can be prepared by burning charcoal in air. Uh, Charcoal is nothing but your carbon. Carbon plus oxygen gives rise to carbon dioxide. One more is by heating limestone, that is calcium carbonate, that gives rise to calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. When you come here, once observe, carbon and oxygen combine together in a fixed ratio, that is in the form of 12:32, or you can make it as a 3:8. And about this carbon and oxygen, the numbers what I am given here, in the coming part of the lessons, you have to understand about this. So children, in today's class, we have learned about law of chemical combination, that two different laws we have discussed. So if you don't understand, rewatch the lesson once again, the video related to this lesson. Okay. And once again, go through the textbook content also. Please try to understand, ma. Okay. Thank you, children.